So in the last session we tested manual additions. Okay, we have seen how to create asset through manual process. Now we'll see how asset can be created through ADFDA. Go to assets. Here select task called as assets. Go to task list and we have a task called as add asset in spreadsheet. Okay. So we have seen how to create invoice in the payables through spreadsheet, in receivables, how to create the receipts in spreadsheet. The same way we can create asset in the spreadsheet and fixed assets. Click on add. So we want to create asset in which corporate book? This is a book. Since this book is assigned to our user, it is defaulting. Okay, it is defaulting. Only one book access this user got. The asset type is capitalized. Say go. Say save. And download the file. Open. Save comment. Skip. So here we can provide asset related details. Say interface line number, any number you can give. Yes, we are going to create the asset in this Amex corporate book. Asset type is capitalized. Q status is new. Okay. We'll discuss about this point once again before we proceed with this process. As of now, accept Q status as new only. Now here you can give asset name. So I'm giving the name as 123 building. And here you can provide major and minor category values. Double click. Search. Select asset category. Amex buildings. Office buildings. Say OK. Just click on OK. Done. So date placed in service. Okay. You can provide the date. You can give today's date. Okay. Job. And cost of the asset. Say 15 lakhs. Units, single unit. And provide the location. Asset location. Double click. select country. You can click on search with the country called US. What are the code combinations are available, it will display. You can pick any one of the location for this asset. Say OK. Yeah. Okay. Here provide depreciation expense account. So double click, search, select depreciation expense account. Asset, which asset? Billing. So select billing depreciation expense account. Search for billing, billing, billings depreciation. So you click on OK. OK. So we provide a depreciation expense account. So here optionally you can provide the asset clearing account. Okay. Optionally you can provide, double click, click on search, select asset clearing account. Say OK. Click on OK. Okay, that's all. These are the basic details we have to provide to create asset in the spreadsheet. Almost same details we provided at the time of asset creation in the system. Here you can see all these are optional information. Done. Now, here we have a queue status as a new. If you keep queue status as a new, system will load this information into fixed assets and we have to convert this record as asset. If you set queue status as a post, directly system will create asset in the fixed assets based on these details. You want to create asset directly based on from this sheet or else you want to import this data into fixed assets by taking some manual action you want to create the asset, we have to take the decision. If you select queue status as a new post, that it will import and it will create asset directly. If you select as new, okay, it won't create asset. It will import this and you have to post it. Then it will create asset. Okay, keep queue name as a new only. You can understand how we can perform that posting within the asset. Then this is how you can create multiple assets. Now just click on submit. If you give the queue status as a post, okay, to create asset directly from the sheet, you can click on post. Now we are not giving the queue status as a post. We are giving as a new. You can click on submit. This record will be submitted you can find within the fixed assets. Click on submit. Say okay. 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 Done. Now we can go to assets. You can close this. Not required. Cancel this. Just refresh this page in navigation. Assets. Here you can see 123 billing, which we loaded just now. So it is showing in the additions one line is incomplete. Now what we have to do is select it. Okay, select this. Go to actions and click on edit. Okay, just wait, it will open this record. Because queue status is new, it is not posted. Posting means it will create asset. Now you can change the status to post. Okay, you can change the status to post. Then you can say save and close. That we entered over there, right? Location we given over there. Anything wrong with that location? Right, no issues. Add it. Okay, fine. Now say save and close. Now you can see earlier it was incomplete record. Now it is ready to post. Now here you need tab called as post. We need a tab called as post to convert this line as an asset. Okay, we have to convert this line as an asset. System has to assign asset number. Here we don't have any tab called as post. What we have to do is you have to click on ready to post hyperlink so that it will enable one tab to post this asset. Click on ready to post hyperlink. Now you can see here it is enabled post all. Now you can select this record and say post all. It will post this record. That means it will convert this record as an asset. After some time, you don't find this record in this page, and you can find it as an asset. See, now we don't have any record here. That means the record is converted as asset. We'll go and check. We give a description as a 123 billing, right? Go to asset inquiry. Go to asset inquiry. Here you can give the category name. Our category name starts with Amex search. In the last session, we created two assets like DLF building and ABC building. Now we created 123 building. Okay, we created 123 building. You can see here. Right. This is how we can create asset through spreadsheet. Right. Okay, done. Now we'll see the concept called as mass additions. What does it mean by mass additions? So through mass additions, what we can do is we can create assets in the fixed assets based on asset invoice which is available in the payables application or the information which is available in the project costing application. Now anyway, the project costing or all are not in the scope for us. So we can test with the payables. So to test this mass addition functionality, what we have to do here? First we have to create asset invoice in AP and we have to perform the accounting. Okay, it is mandatory. If you don't create accounting entries for this invoice, that information we cannot transfer to fixed assets. So create accounting. For that asset invoice, we have to create the accounting in payables. Then we can transfer that asset invoice information to fixed assets. The activity what we do as a transfer that we call as prepare mass additions. Okay, or you can say transfer asset lines. Okay, transfer asset lines we can say. Once the information will be transferred to fixed assets, you can post that information in the fixed assets. Posting is nothing but converting the line as asset. So post mass additions. Okay, these are the four steps. First, we have to create asset invoice in AP. The second step is it is a mandatory. We have to create accounting entries for that invoice. Then we'll be able to transfer that information to fixed assets. Nothing but prepare mass addition. Finally, we can post mass additions. Okay, we'll see this. Go to payables to create asset invoice.
What exactly the meaning of mass addition?
Mass addition means creating asset lines in AP and transferring to fixed assets we call as mass additions. Okay, we are adding assets in fixed assets from payables. That process we call as mass addition. It's simple here. By looking at this term, what you can understand is addition means adding asset here. Mass means you can add multiple at a time. From where? From payables. Even from project costing also you can do that. But here what we have to understand here, you should not take the meaning by seeing this, the terms. The process wise we have to understand. Mass addition is nothing but adding asset lines from AP to fixed assets and creating assets. That process we call as mass addition. Or simply you can say mass addition means creating asset invoice in the payables and transferring to fixed assets and creating assets. That process we call as a mass additions. That's all. Say create asset invoice in AP. How to create asset invoice in AP we'll see. Go to invoice workbench. I think we have periods open in payables. We'll check once. Manage accounting periods. Go to our ledger. Amex. Okay. Yes. The job period is open. Check the status in GL also. Go to period close. Yeah, current period status is open. Now you can proceed to create invoice in AP. Say create invoice. Just wait for a second, it's taking time. Let me refresh this page. Fine. Okay, provide supplier name. Amex AMC. You can give invoice numbers. Amex 123. I'm giving 30 lakhs. And go to lines. If you want to send this invoice information to fixed assets, okay, fine. First, let's enter amount. Okay, don't use any distribution set. Remove this. And you have to provide the distribution account, that is nothing but asset clearing account. If you provide asset clearing account, system will understand this line is belongs to fixed assets and it will allow us to transfer to fixed assets. In the category creation time, we have one account called as asset clearing account. Whatever the account is available in the fixed assets category, the same account we have to use. When you try to transfer this information to fixed asset, system will have a verification. The account whatever we have in this invoice line level, the same account is available in the fixed assets or not, it will verify. If it is available, then only it will accept this process. Okay. So that is the criteria system will look for. The account what we are selecting here, that should be available already in the fixed assets. Yes, asset clearing account already we have in the fixed assets as a part of category. Again, we'll go to category at the time. We will see that account once again. So asset category, asset clearing account. Select it. Okay, this account nature is asset. Save OK. Okay, if somebody is from EBS background, along with that, you have to select this line as a track as asset and all. But in the Fusion, that is not required. Here, if you go to Asset tab, select Asset tab. Here we have one checkbox called as a track as asset. You no need to enable. Without enabling, system will understand if the account is matching with the category account, it will transfer. In Fusion, you no need to enable this. In EBS, you should do that. That is the point we have to notice. Okay, just we are preparing the line with which account? Asset clearing account. If you provide asset clearing account, system will understand this line need to be transferred to fixed assets. That's all. Now rest are processing. Okay, what we discussed, we have to validate and do. It's mandatory we have to account. Just validate this invoice. Okay, validate this invoice. Now this invoice you can call as asset invoice. You can call this asset invoice line as asset line. Simply you can call as a we have one asset line in this invoice. Just submit for validation. After validating this invoice, we have to run the create accounting. Okay, create asset invoice means we have to create and validate. After that, we have to create accounting. If you create accounting, then only this information can be transferred to fixed assets. Accounting is mandatory. Okay, accounting is mandatory. Invoice is validated. Now perform the accounting. Go to invoice actions. Say post to ledger. So accounting also completed. So accounting is complete. Say okay. Now say save and close. So now we can say asset invoice we created and we created accounting entries. Now the next step is this information we have to transfer to fixed assets. You can go to task list. Okay, here we have a create mass additions. Okay, create mass additions. Sorry. Here, these terms you can take like this. So create mass addition. Create mass addition is nothing but okay, transferring asset lines from AP to FA. When you say FA, it will go to FA interface. Okay, create mass addition is nothing but transferring asset lines from AP to FA. We are going to do that. We'll discuss what does it mean by prepare, how it is different. Okay, create mass additions. You can perform that from here, or else you can directly do this from the schedule process also. Just click on create mass additions, and here you can select account date. You can select today's date. Till this date of asset invoices we want to transfer. We want to transfer to which book? Select our corporate book. MX corporate book.
Can you show me the path? Can you show me the path?
Sorry?
Path for this task, create mass addition.
Yeah, I'll show that again. Say okay. Don't practice simultaneously if somebody is doing that. Your task list. Here is the task. Okay, create mass addition. Okay, done. Now this invoice information you can find in the fixed assets. Let's switch to fixed assets. Fixed assets, select task called as assets. You can see here, right? Invoice number is MX123. Okay. So whatever the invoice information we transferred, that is available in the fixed assets now. Now the status is incomplete. Okay, status is incomplete. Now what we have to do is, we have to select that line, go to actions, click on edit. Now we have to change the queue status from new to post, and we have to select the category. Okay, and other details we have to provide. Depreciation expense location and all we have to provide. Providing changing the status and selecting the category and providing this depreciation expense account location. This is what we call as prepare mass additions. Okay, we are preparing that line to create as asset that we call as a prepare mass addition. This preparation itself we call as adding details to the asset invoice asset line which is coming from AP that we call as prepare mass addition. Once you provide the data, you can post it so that that line will be converted as asset. Okay, we transfer. That's nothing but create mass addition. Now we have
Sir,
to add the details. That is nothing but prepare mass addition.
sir, sir, hello, sir.
Prepare mass addition from this page. If not from this page, we have other option also. Leave this. Here we have line. By selecting, you can go to actions and you can click on edit. If not from here, the same you can do from here also. Go to task list. Here we have prepare source line. Nothing but prepare mass addition. You can go to prepare source lines. Here click on search. The same you can see here also. From here also process is same. Select, go to actions, click on edit. Here you can change the queue status from new to post. You can add the category, add depreciation expense account location and all. From payables, only we are getting the cost. Okay, we are getting the cost information. Rest of details we have to add here only. So this is how you can do the prepare mass additions. You can do from any page. Okay. You want to do from here, this is the task. Prepare source lines. Prepare source lines, nothing but prepare mass addition. Or else you can proceed from here itself. Let's do from here. Select. So actions, click on edit. Now as of now the status is incomplete. Yes, it is incomplete information. What information we have? Just invoice number we have and cost we have. That means it's incomplete. We have to add other details which are required to create a test. So click on edit. Now change the queue status to post. When you change the queue status to post, it will ask us to provide category as a mandatory. Now category field is optional. You see here, it's not mandatory field. There is no star mark. I'm selecting the status as a post. Now it is mandatory. Provide category. You want to take this asset into which category? Okay, minor category value is office buildings. Say okay. Now description also mandatory. So the building name you can give as X building. Okay, asset number we don't need to provide. Automatically system will generate. Otherwise you can provide it. Not required. Now based on the category, system is taking the depreciation expense account. Now you can select the location. Okay, we provided location. So that's all. Now you can say save and close. Now you can see the status as a ready to post. Now this line can be converted as asset. Okay, this line we can convert as a asset. Okay. Now just click on this ready to post hyperlink. Now it is adding the tab called as post all. Now select it, select that record. Now click on post all. This is what we call as post mass addition. Okay, that is what we call as post mass addition. Post mass addition means the line we will post so that that will be converted into asset. Select and click on post all. Okay, done. Now you can go to asset inquiry to find the same. So categories Amex. Click on search. What is the name we given? X building. That is the description we given. Okay, X building. So you can see. Now here you can go to source lines. For this asset, you can go to source lines. You can find based on which source this asset is created. Okay, here you can see invoice number, supplier, and you can scroll little down. You can see this is coming from which application. Okay, this information we got from Oracle Payables application, and we created asset based on that. So this is how you can find in the source lines. If you select other assets, the DLF building, there is nothing source lines. Okay, this we created directly in the fixed assets. The asset, whatever the asset lines are coming from AP, you can see the source lines are coming from AP. So this is how you can create the asset and the fixed assets based on asset invoice information which is available in the payables application. Done. Now the same process will take some different scenario. Okay. So whatever we tested we call as a mass addition. Mass addition is nothing but creating asset and fixed assets based on asset invoice information which is available in the payables. Which invoice? Asset invoice. Yeah, let's talk about merge asset lines. This is related to asset additions only. Merge asset lines. That means, say, in payables, you created an invoice. Okay, you created an invoice. In the invoice, you have line 1. Line 1 may be, for example, 10,000. You have one more line. Okay, you have line 2. Within the same invoice, we have line 2. Line 2 also 10,000. After sending this 10,000, 10,000 total 20,000 to fixed assets, okay, say for example, line 1 is related to desktop, or say monitor, line 1 is monitor, line 2 is CPU, and line 3 is some keyboard or mouse. This is how, like when you have some invoice, you may have a different items within single invoice, but all need to be maintained as a single asset. But we have a separate lines. After transferring these two lines, take this example only. Okay, we have two lines. After transferring these two lines to fixed assets, these two lines we have to create as a single asset. We cannot use CPU and monitor separately. By combining those, we should name it as a desktop. That is a single asset. So that is the reason When you look at invoice, there may be n number of lines how we are purchasing. When we move that lines to fixed assets, that all need to be maintained as a single asset. For that, what we have to do is we have to merge one line with another line. Okay, we have to merge one line with another line. So when you are purchasing, you may purchase separately the spare parts or the different items. Finally, when we are going to use, if that you are going to use as a single asset, the multiple lines you have to merge to create the single asset in the fixed assets that you can achieve by using the concept called as merge asset lines. Okay, merge asset lines. We'll create one invoice with more than one line. We will transfer those lines to fixed assets. In fixed assets, we'll see how those lines can be merged to create the single asset. If you don't merge these two lines in the fixed assets, system will create two assets. Okay, system will create two assets, but reality we are not going to use those as a two separate assets. By combining those two, both those two we are going to consider as a single asset. One is CPU, other one is monitor. The same way, mouse, keyboard, etc., etc. You may have a multiple lines, all need to be merged. Then you can call it as a single asset. So if you have a such kind of scenarios, I took example for computer. In the same way, when you are dealing with a different business scenarios, if there is any need of merging one line with another line, we can use merge asset lines functionality. So to test this scenario, okay, to test this functionality, let's create an invoice in the payables with at least two lines so that we can test it, how the lines can be transferred, how we can perform the merge, finally how that can be created as a single asset. Go to invoices.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, if any of my lines is having tax and that is eligible for transfer to FA, will it create mass addition will be sufficient to transfer the lines to FA, or any separate job needs to be executed to transfer the tax line?
Yeah, it will transfer.
Create mass addition will be enough to transfer all the lines.
Yes, yes, it will transfer.
Oh.
Even some expenses also you can transfer to fixed assets. Say against some assets, some maintenance related expense you have, those also will be able to transfer. For that, you have to maintain that account in the category. You will be able to transfer. In that scenario, you can enable the track as assets in case of expenses and all. You can transfer that.
Okay. Okay. So if tax line is there, also process is same.
Yeah. Okay, click on create invoice. So supplier is Amex. So provide invoice number. So Amex 9. Say 50 lakhs. Go to lines. The line amount is, we will create two lines, 25, 25. Okay, 25 lakhs. No distribution set, we have to enter as a clearing account. Asset clearing and okay. Okay, we created one line, but since this is related to asset, simply this we call as one asset line we created in the invoice. We'll create one more asset line. Okay, 25 lakhs. Here also provides same account as a clearing account. Say OK. Okay, done. Now you can submit this invoice for validation. Submit this invoice for accounting. Say OK. Now you can transfer this 2 lines to fixed assets. Go to task list. So create MassAddition. Create MassAddition nothing but transferring asset lines from AP to FA. Till today, corporate book is Amex. Say submit. Now these 2 lines you can find in the fixed assets. Switch to fixed assets. Okay, 2 lines. 2 lines are belongs to same invoice. Amex 9. Fine. Now you can select one line. Okay. You can select any one of the one line, and click on merge. So the selected line it's selected as a parent. Now say cancel to close this page and read the message. All the lines selected for merge will be removed. Do you want to continue? Say no. Now select other line. Now click on merge. This line will be merged with the first line. Done. Now these two are selected. One as a parent, other one is as a some child line. Now you can say submit. Now we merged. Now we have to prepare the MassAddition, right? So select the same line which is available here. Go to actions, click on edit. Now you can see 2 lines here. Invoice is same, Amex 9, line 1, line 2. So line 1 you can see Q status as on hold. Okay, Q status is on hold. Other line status is merged. Now we have to choose the status like here which is merged. Okay, merged. Or just you can proceed like here, even without choosing also system by default it will take that as preparation for both. What you can do is or else simply no need to do any selection down. Simply you can come to this page, select, click on edit. Okay. So this line 2 merged with line 1. Okay, 2 is merged with 1. Now the 1 related status it is showing as on hold. Now what you can do is change the status to post. Now you can prepare it. Provide the description. Say Oracle building. And provide category. We are preparing it. We are preparing the MassAddition. Comex buildings. Office buildings. Say okay. Fine. Here you can add other details. Category from category system is defaulting expense account. You can select the location. Say okay. Okay, done. Now you can say save and close. Now you can see the status as ready to post. We merged one line with another line. Now system will create as a single asset $25,000 and $25,000 or 25 lakhs and 25 lakhs dollars. It will create as a single asset. Now click on post to ready to post hyperlink. When you click on this, it will add this tab here. Then select the record and say post all. Asset addition was submitted. Okay, this line is submitted for asset creation. Now you can switch to task called as asset inquiry. Categories, Amex, search. We give a name as Oracle building. Here is Oracle building system created as asset. Asset number is 1235. Go to source lines. You can find two lines. But look at asset cost. Okay, 5 lakhs, 50 lakhs. Single asset. Created single asset. The asset number is 1235. So this is how you can merge one line with another line. Could be multiple, you can merge. This is all about merging. The same way we have a split functionality also. Okay, same way you have a split functionality. So you purchased 10 laptops.
Can we merge two invoices, two different invoices from the supplier?
Lines should be within the invoice only. Across invoices, you cannot merge. Not possible. When you talk about split, say you created an invoice, the total you created an invoice, within that invoice we have only one line. But the line is belongs to say 5 computers. Now the total cost you will transfer to fixed assets, but in the fixed assets, the total cost you have to maintain as a 5 separate assets. So in that case, you can transfer single line to fixed assets. There you can split into multiple lines so that you can create multiple assets. So you purchase 2 laptops. As per invoice, we have only single line. The single line you transfer to fixed assets. But reality that has to be maintained as a 2 assets. So you can split. You can split that single line into multiple lines to create a multiple assets. However, we merged in the same way. We transferred multiple lines and we merged into one line and we created single asset. Now, by using the split, what we can do is the single asset line you can transfer from AP to FA. In fixed assets, the single line you can split into multiple lines and you can create multiple assets. So we'll see this. Okay, we'll create single line in the fixed tables and we'll transfer to fixed assets. How we can split one line into multiple lines, we will see. Go to payables. So supplier is Amex. Invoice number is Amex 5. I'm going to enter 50 lakhs. enter line. I'm entering single line with 50 lakhs. Okay. Say this 50 lakhs amount is belongs to 5 items. You can take any example. Here you can provide the asset clearing account. Say okay. Okay, this total cost. Okay, this line is belongs to 5 assets. We purchase it could be building or some machinery, anything you can take as an example. You just take that example, it belongs to 5 assets. Okay, as a single line, we created invoice. Now you can submit this for validation. Submit this invoice for validation. After validation, accounting is mandatory. Without performing the accounting, if you try to create mass actions, nothing will be transferred to fixed assets. Remember this. Say post to ledger. Whether this invoice related accounting entries are posted in the GL or not, that is not a matter. Okay, it should be accounted here, that's all. Whether the journal entries are posted or not, system won't go and verify. Done. So invoice is created and validated. Go to task list. Say create mass additions. Create mass additions. Select today's date. Asset book is Amex corporate book. And click on submit. Say okay. Okay. Click on cancel. Now we can go and find this asset line in FA. The reality, the asset line will be in the FA master interface table. Whatever the information is available in the FA master interface tables, that will get displayed in this page. Okay. Without going to that interface lines, Oracle is displaying that information directly in this page. Now select it. Right, this is what we entered. MX5 50 lakhs. Select that line, go to actions, click on edit. Okay. Select queue status as a post. Select queue status as a post. Here you can select the category. Provide major and minor category values. MX buildings. Office buildings. Say okay. Provide description. Say a building. Some description you can provide and provide location for this building. Search, select location. Now this total cost you want to split into how many lines, that means how many assets you want to create by using this cost. Say we want to split this single line into 5 lines, our requirement is we want to create the 5 assets. So here you have to give that information, units. You want to split this total cost into how many units? 5 units. Okay, you can provide this like this, okay? So you want to split this single line into how many lines, you have to provide the units field. Now say save and close. Okay, units are 5. Now you can split this. Select it. Click on split. Now what system will do? Once you click on split, the total cost by 5 it will take. That means 10 lakhs. It will take into 5 separate lines. And you may change the amounts also if you want. So select this line. Click on split. Okay, the invoice MX5 source line will be split into 5 lines with 1 each. Do you want to continue? Yes. Now it will create 5 lines. Say okay. Okay, done. Now you can see 5 lines, same description, same invoice, 5 units. Cost is 10 lakhs. Okay, the 50 lakhs by number of units. Took like 10 lakhs for each unit. Now you can post this and system will create 5 assets with these 5 units. Now click on ready to post so that post tab will be enabled here. You will be able to post. Click on ready to post hyperlink. Now select all. Here, select. Click on post all. Now we can see 5 assets. Now you can go to asset inquiry page. You can see here A building, A, and A. 5 it created. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The description is same. So you can select any one of the asset. Scroll little down. Go to source lines. Okay, it is not selected, I guess. Select. Go to source lines. You can see this invoice is created against. Sorry, this asset is created against which invoice? Okay. So supplier and all the details you can see here. Oracle tables. So this is how we can transfer single line from AP to FA and you can split into multiple lines. The same way, like say you are constructing the building that you want to create in the system. If you are constructing the building and if you create in the system that we call as CIP asset, capitalization in progress. Okay, capitalization in progress. The building which is under construction and the plant which is under installation. Okay, these all we call as the CIP assets. First, you can create the CIP asset. Once construction is completed or once installation is completed for that plant, you can convert into capitalized asset. Let's see how to create CIP asset, how to add the cost, okay, and how that can be capitalized. We'll see that. If you want to create the CIP asset by using any category, we have to provide the CIP accounts in the category. If you don't have any CIP accounts in the category, you cannot create the CIP asset. Now go to category. Let's try to create a CIP asset. It won't allow. See, go to assets. Here, try to select asset type as CIP. Say we want to create CIP asset, which is belongs to billing. Select category. Say OK. Provide some description. Okay. Provide some location. Now say OK. You can click on next or you can click on submit. See, you cannot add a CIP asset to this category because CIP accounts are not defined for this category in this book. Right? Now we have to go and add the CIP accounts within this category so that we will be able to create the CIP assets with the help of this category in this corporate. We'll go and complete that setup. Setup and maintenance. Task list. Manage implementation project. Overview. Open the project. Okay. Now search for category tasks. Search for category task. Say asset categories. Manage asset categories. Click on go. Say create. Sorry. You can find it in order to create, right? Already we have. We want to add to existing. So that category is assigned to which book, select that. That is Amex corporate book. Click on search. How many categories are assigned to this corporate book? Those you can find. This is the category we require. Now select this category, click on edit. So here category level, here these accounts we have to add. CIP cost and CIP clearing accounts. So click on search. Search for CIP account. CIP search. Select CIP cost account. Okay. Click on search. CIP clearing account. CIP clearing, say okay. Okay. It should work. Try again. Okay. Search, select, say OK. Maybe somebody might have changed the nature of accounts, etc. for this. No issues. You can just pick the CIP account. Yeah. I think it should be clearing. It seems to the nature of account changed or there could be some reason it's not accepted. Let's proceed with this. Say save and close. So we provided two accounts, CIP cost and CIP clearing accounts. Those are required for accounting purpose for CIP asset. That is the reason system look for those accounts whether those are available or not. Now we'll see how to create the CIP asset. Go to asset workbench. Okay. If you click on this assets task, it will take us to asset workbench. The page we call as asset workbench. This page. Now click on task list. Click on add asset. Select what asset we are creating CIP and category. We want to maintain this asset in which category. Select the category. It is Amex building. Office building. Say OK. Description I'm giving just ABC. For CIP asset, you cannot add any cost. It's under construction, for example. The building is under construction. You cannot finalize the cost. So no cost you can add. Search and select the location where you are constructing the building. Now click on submit. System will create the CIP asset. Later you can add the cost and you can convert it to capitalized. Or else if you go to next, it will allow you to add the cost. Okay. If you click on submit, system will create the CIP asset. Whenever you complete the construction of the building, then you can go to this asset and you can open and you can add the cost. Or else if you want to understand how to add the cost to CIP asset, you can click on next. Here, go to financial details, go to source lines. Under source lines, you can add the cost. Say construction is completed. You created asset, you open the asset, you can come to this section and you can add the cost here. Say 25 lakhs. So in the source lines, you can add the cost to CIP. Now say submit. Now system will create CIP asset. It will create CIP asset. Refresh this page. Yeah. Created. Now, if you want to convert that CIP as a capital, or else we'll go and see the asset inquiry. Asset inquiry. Search. You can see all assets are capitalized. Assets which are capitalized, you can calculate the depreciation. That means those are ready to use. those are constructed. You can occupy the buildings, you can start calculating the depreciation. CAP asset means it could be building or plant or machinery, whatever it may be. The capitalization in under progress. Okay, capitalization in progress. So those you cannot use. That means we cannot calculate the depreciation on CAP assets. Once the capitalization is completed, that means construction or installation or something else is completed, you can start calculating the depreciation on those assets. Okay. Now the building, the name is ABC. Asset type you can see as CAP. Against CAP assets, you cannot calculate the depreciation. Once capitalization is completed, you can convert from CAP to capitalized. Let's see how to convert. Go to asset workbench. Task list. Here we have a task called as capitalize CAP assets. Click on this task. Find out CAP assets. Categories are mixed. And you can select asset type is CAP. Search. So we have only one CAP asset. If you want to capitalize this, you can select it and click on capitalize. This will be converted into capitalize. This will be available to calculate the depreciation. Say capitalize. So date placed in service is today. From today we want to use this asset. Done. Now you don't find any CAP assets. All assets are capitalized. You can go and check that. Go to asset inquiry. Now ABC also you can find as a capitalized. Now you will be able to calculate the depreciation on that asset. Okay, that's all about creating the CAP asset and capitalizing the same. Yeah. Proceed. So we're done with this. Now we'll see the concept called as the reclassification. So reclassification is nothing but changing the asset category. Now the assets whatever we created in one category, that is office buildings. Say the office buildings you are going to convert as shopping complexes or some other classifications you are going to have, or by mistake you created asset in the wrong category, you want to change it. For that we can use the concept called as reclassification. If you want to test this reclassification functionality, we need one more category. Now we have only one category. Let's create one more category so that we can test the reclassification functionality. So go to our implementation project. Manage implementation projects. Overview. Open. So search for asset categories. Manage asset categories. Sorry, it's calendar. Manage asset categories. Say create. We are going to create one more category. So Amex buildings and shopping complex. Okay, the earlier category is office buildings, right? Office buildings, now shopping complex. Now click on add. Name is Amex Corporate Book. This new category we are assigning to corporate book, Amex Corporate Book. Here you can provide asset cost account. This category also belongs to building only. You need to go with separate shopping complex, office buildings accounts. You can use a common account based on the classification. You will be able to track. You can generate reports or you can find anything. Category based on category, you can give the account. Asset cost account is nothing but billing account. Select billings. Say okay. Here you can see the asset clearing account. So this account only be given in the payables. When we are trying to transfer that line from payables to FA, this is what system will verify whether the asset clearing account is available in the any one of the asset category or not, which is associated with the same primary ledger and all. Here provide the depreciation expense account. So search for buildings depreciation account. Say okay. Now you may fill the other accounts with the same. Done. Now go to default rules. Click on add. You can select the depreciation method. So straight line. So lifetime is 50. Life in months 0. And select prorate convention. So full month. Retirement convention also full month. Say save and close. Now we have one more category. Now let's see how to reclassify the assets from one category to another category. Okay. Go to task list, assets, go to task list. Here you can go to adjust assets. Okay. Let's see. Adjust assets. Click on adjust assets. Find out the assets with the category. MX. Now we have one asset called as DLF building. So this asset category is office buildings. Say the office buildings you converted into shopping complex. Now you have to change the category, or else by mistake you created this asset in this category. Reality, this asset should belongs to shopping complex category. So then you can change it. Select this asset. Okay, select. One second. Okay, fine. Now it's okay. So select. You can select any one of the asset. Select any one of the asset. And here you can see, anyway, because all the assets belongs to same category, office buildings only, you can pick any one of the asset. I'm selecting Oracle building asset. Here we have a tab called as change category. Changing asset category is nothing but reclassification. Click on change category. Now you can write the comments why you are changing the category. Maybe user mistake or else the asset is converted into shopping complex. That you can write as a comments. So as of now, this asset, okay, we have in this office building category. Now we are going to move to new category. Buildings. Okay. Shopping complex. Yes, this category also available now. System will accept. Say submit. Click on done. Now just go and verify which asset is in which category. Asset inquiry. So these are all assets we have in office building. Only Oracle building that we have in the category called as shopping complex. And this is how you can change assets from one category to another category. The concept we call as reclassification. Reclassification. Reclassification means changing asset category. We call as reclassification. Now see the concept called as depreciation. When you calculate the depreciation for assets, we have it two options. One is draft mode, other one is final mode. The reality first we run the draft mode, we'll verify if everything is fine, we'll go for final mode. If you run the depreciation in the draft mode in the current period, system will calculate the depreciation. It will display how depreciation will be calculated if you calculate reality, and the period will be open. In case of draft mode depreciation, system will create the sample depreciation, and you can see that if that is fine, you can run the final mode depreciation. If you run the draft mode depreciation, system is not going to close the current period. If you run the final mode depreciation, system will close the current period. That means system will calculate the depreciation and it will close the current period and it will open the next period. Here, depreciation, draft mode, final mode. In case of draft mode, it will calculate sample depreciation. If it is a final mode, it will calculate full depreciation and it will close current period and it will open next period. So this is the difference between draft mode depreciation and final mode depreciation. The reality first we have to run the draft mode and we will look into the depreciation whether the system is calculating the depreciation for each asset or each category as we planned. We'll verify if everything is fine, then we can go for final mode. Okay, this is the process we'll follow. Whenever we run the final mode depreciation, system will create the actual depreciation and it will close the current period and it will open the next period. This is the process system will follow. Now let's see how
Draft mode, can you explain again draft mode?
Sorry?
Draft mode.
Draft mode?
Can you explain again?
It will show sample depreciation. It will calculate depreciation for sample purpose. That is not real. Okay. Just it will calculate, but that is not a real life. That you cannot do anything with that. If you really calculate depreciation, how it would be, that it will show. Okay, for sample, it will show how it would be if you calculate real depreciation, how the depreciation system will calculate, it will show. It is not a finalization of depreciation calculation, just for view purpose. It won't calculate reality. It won't take action of calculating. If you calculate reality, how it would be, it will show. Okay. It will show some preview. So we'll see that. Go to assets task. Now the depreciation we have to run for entire book. You cannot run the depreciation for specific asset or specific category. If you are running the depreciation, you have to run it for entire book, irrespective of how many categories, how many assets you have. You don't have an option of choosing the assets or choosing the category to run the depreciation. The depreciation we can run at entire corporate book level. Okay, now here is the corporate book, and this is the period available to run the depreciation. Now click on this drop down option. It will display the information. So in this Amex corporate book, which is associated with this Amex USA primary ledger, we have completed 12 assets. 12 assets are created in the current period, Jan period. If you want to see what are those, you can click on the number. If you click on that number, it will show what are those 12 assets. So done. Now for these assets, you can submit the depreciation. If you click on calculate depreciation, this would be draft mode. It will create for sample, just for display purpose. If you are okay with the depreciation, you can click on drop down, you can say close period. If you select close period, this will be final mode. It will create the real depreciation, it will close the current period and it will open the next period. Okay, for now, we'll proceed with the draft mode. Later, we'll run the final mode. Just click on calculate depreciation. Just click on calculate depreciation. Now you can go to asset inquiry. Find out the assets. You can select any one of the assets and go to tab called as depreciation. You can see it calculated depreciation. For Jan 2022, calculated this much depreciation. You can check other asset ABC. Okay, for ABC asset, depreciation is this. I'm selecting 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Mr. Lakshman, good morning. The basic question what I wanted to get clarified is, what is the basis for the depreciation? Have you ever mentioned the percentage for each category or book?
We selected
Percentage of
straight line means total asset value by number of periods. That's how it will calculate. Straight line depreciation method means.
what is the percentage in that STL?
No percentage.
What is the percentage?
No. Amount total cost by number of periods. Straight line means.
Okay.
Yeah. Straight line depreciation method means the total cost of asset by number of periods. We given years, right?
Yeah.
50 years. 50 years means how many months it will calculate. Okay, it will take asset cost by those many months. Each month, how much it will calculate.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
You can change some other depreciation methods also. Oracle is providing, even we can create if required as per requirement. So what depreciation method you are selecting, accordingly it will calculate. You can check for anything, anything. Just here I'm selecting Oracle billing. It is taking total cost what we have by number of periods. It is taking each period how much depreciation it is calculating automatically. This is sample depreciation. This is not real. If you go to asset workbench, you can see still Jan period is open. Okay. If you run the final mode depreciation, here it will display Feb. That means system will close the jar and it will open the Feb. How to do that? If you select close period, it will run the depreciation. Real depreciation it will calculate. And again, you cannot reverse that. The system will calculate the depreciation. It will close the Jan period and it will open the February period. So done. Now take other example here. Okay, we're done with that. We submitted draft mode depreciation. After some time, we will submit final mode also, so that you can see system will run the actual depreciation, will close the current period, it will open the next period. So before we proceed with the other topic, let's pick this. It is very relevant to understand now.
Yeah, Lakshman, while preparing the depreciation, while running the depreciation, is there any possibilities for the errors?
Possibility for errors, ideally you don't have any issues. Okay. Ideally you don't have any issues. When you run the depreciation, it will generate some report, or else later you can run the report also. So it will display. Ideally you don't get any errors related. For which assets depreciation is applicable, it will calculate. Okay. In general, like you don't get any issues when you run the depreciation and all. It will calculate or it won't calculate. It totally depends how it is. For example, you can go to some asset. When you go to other one asset, I'll show you that. You can just mark it. Entire category level, you can set depreciation should not be calculated. For specific asset also, you can set depreciation should not be calculated. Okay, that's how you can set the checkbox. For every asset, whenever you create the asset, automatically system will copy the depreciation method from the category. So that is mandatory. There is no scope where the depreciation method is not applicable for assets. Every asset will have a depreciation method. By following that, it will calculate the depreciation. Generally, you don't get any issues when you calculate the depreciation.
Lakshman sir, to import invoices from AP module to FA. So from FA module, I remember we used to run one job called as.
It's not importing, we will say transfer.
Okay, transfer.
So in asset lines from A to FA, and will convert those as assets. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. So for that, in fixed asset, we used to navigate to schedule process, and we used to run one job called as prepare mass addition.
Create mass addition. Create mass addition we are running.
Yes.
Correct.
So in fixed asset also used to run one job. So I didn't saw that in this, like in our training. So is there any upgradation in 2020 so that that job is not required or something like that?
No, not like that. So in EBS, we'll run post mass addition. Okay. We'll run post mass addition job, but here what they did is simply you can click, it will happen here. Here they are giving just, you can just select. Okay, you can open the asset and you can click on post. Here you are selecting, you can click on post. From here you are running. Okay, or else here also we have option. Prepare source lines. In EBS test we have a job. Okay, EBS you will go to job and you will select post mass additions or prepare mass addition. It will just run that and it will generate the report also. But here directly they are giving here itself. You don't need to go and run it. That's all. That's the difference. Okay. So after preparing, we have done the post masses. There will be navigation in EBS. You remember that?
Okay.
Asking that question.
Yeah, yes, sir. In EBS, we have a prepare mass additions request also. When we run the request, system will bring out all the assets. You can select what mode of assets you want to have, either new.
Not like that.
Status.
1 second. That is not a job. We have a prepare mass addition function. If you click on that, it will display the assets to selected and to prepare it. Okay.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you click on post mass addition, it will trigger the job. There we call as request. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
We have
Correct.
two functions. The navigator, you can find in mass addition. Under that, post mass addition. If you click on prepare mass addition, here whatever the page system is opening in the Fusion now, similar page it will open over there. Form. There you can select a set, you can change the status to post, you can add the category, you can add the location, you can change some information, or you can add. Then you can submit, you can save it. Then next function would be post. If you click on post, it will take us to request set. Okay, not just request. It will open the request set. By default, it will select the post mass addition job, and there will be two jobs over there. Since that is the request set, that is not single request, that is request set. One is post mass additions, other one is generate post mass addition report. We have to provide the parameter called as corporate book, and we have to provide the period, then we have to submit. Then for which assets are in the status called as post belongs to the same corporate book, those will be converted into assets. That's how we have in EBS, but here they simplified. You don't need to go and you don't need to do anything. Simply from here, you can just click on ready to post. Then here it will enable post. Click on that, it will post automatically in the background. Same job system will trigger, but you don't need to navigate at all. That's how simplified here. Yeah, you can just understand that point. Okay, fine. Now, rollback depreciation. Let's talk about rollback depreciation. Rollback depreciation is nothing but we can undo the depreciation whatever we calculated when, if depreciation is a draft mode. Now we calculated depreciation, that is a draft mode. Now if you go and do any changes to any asset, automatically the depreciation system will undo. Since that is a draft mode depreciation, say you submitted final mode, even if you go and do some changes to asset, system won't roll back. Only in the draft mode depreciation, when you run the draft mode depreciation, if you go and do any changes against the asset, system can undo the depreciation, whatever you calculated, that we call as a rollback depreciation. Okay, the rollback depreciation is applicable only in case of draft mode depreciation. Okay, if you run the final mode depreciation, even if you go and do some changes to any asset, the depreciation, whatever it is calculated, will remain as it is, no changes. Okay, rollback, we'll see how it works. Now we'll go to any one of the asset and we'll do some changes. Whether system will roll back the depreciation or not, we will understand. Go to adjust assets. Find out assets. So these are the assets. And here you can open any one of the assets. I'm selecting X billing. Select this record and go to change financial details. Change financial details. Now if you change anything against this asset, whatever the depreciation is already calculated in the draft mode, that system will reverse it. It will undo. Just for testing, I'm changing the value. Submit. Okay, done. Now just go and verify the depreciation for the same asset. Asset inquiry. Search. Check A building. depreciation. Yes, we have ABC. Yes, we have 1, 2, 3. Yes, we have Oracle building. Yes, we have depreciation. Now check X building. There won't be any depreciation. Empty. We calculated draft mode, but we did some modification against that asset. So that is the reason automatically system will roll back the depreciation. Okay, when you do some changes against any asset, after running the draft mode depreciation, automatically system will do the rollback. Okay, this is applicable only in case of draft mode. Only draft mode, this is applicable. Just remember this point. The
Can we run a request? Can we run a request for all the assets to roll back?
Sorry?
Can we run the request to roll back the depreciation of all the assets by submitting a process?
Yes. We have a rollback depreciation also here automated. In EBS, we do that through manual process. If you want to run, you can run that. Ideally, you no need to run. Just see. In EBS, what happens is, even if some changes are applicable for one asset, you have to run the depreciation. You have to run the complete process. Okay, complete process, and it will roll back the depreciation. But here, whatever the asset you are doing the changes, automatically it will run for only that asset. If you want to run that process, you can run. But here it is automated. Here automated. Wherever some changes, you have to run. Otherwise, not required. Anyway, it is not a final mode. It's a draft mode. Okay, where you are changing, there only accordingly depreciation need to be changed. That is the reason system will run this depreciation. Okay. Even if you run for all, what is the use? You are removing. Why you are removing? No use. There is no reason. Here system is removing the depreciation means because some lifetime is changed or depreciation method is changed or something product conversion is changed. Accordingly, again new depreciation need to be calculated. That may be draft. But other assets,
Yeah.
okay.
Only wherever they find certain discrepancies, they will do that.
Sorry?
Only wherever they find certain discrepancies, changes or wrong mistakes, then only they will change that particular asset, and then our system will automatically roll back the depreciation.
Yeah, automatically system will do that. We don't need to take any action.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that is the use of this rollback. Now again, you can run the depreciation. As per the changes, it will calculate depreciation and it will show. Wherever system roll back the depreciation, it will display as per the latest updates against that asset. So this is what we have to understand. What is the meaning of rollback? In EBS 11, it was manual process. In EBS 12, this is automated. 12 also it is automated, and Fusion also it is automated. In Level you have to run that request through manual process. This is what you have to notice if you are from EBS background. Done. Okay. Now we'll see the concept called as mass copy. So mass copy means we have all our assets in our corporate book. When we have assets in our corporate book, we can calculate the depreciation with a specific method. For the same assets, you want to calculate the depreciation maybe with a different method. Okay, when it is required. Say, you have to calculate the depreciation as per your Companies Act as well as IT Act. By keeping the assets in single book, you cannot calculate the different depreciations. For that, what we do is, we'll create one more book to calculate the depreciation as per IT Act. Okay, if you want to calculate the depreciation as per IT Act, say for example, okay, so Companies Act, IT Act, sorry. The Companies Act says the asset for so like buildings lifetime is 50 years, but IT Act may says 45 years. Okay, you can claim the depreciation as per Companies Act 50 years, as per IT Act 45 years. Now, as per Companies Act, we always create corporate book. We create corporate book and set the lifetime like 50 and all. We calculate the assets and all. Okay, and even depreciation method also. As per Companies Act and IT Act, depreciation method can be different. In corporate book, this is how we'll keep that assets and we'll calculate depreciation. When it comes to IT Act, we can claim only depreciation for 45 years. So now what we have to do is, what are the assets we have in our corporate book, all will copy to tax book. Here we'll create, okay, what are the assets? Say you have 12 assets now in corporate book. We calculate depreciation by following 50 years lifetime for buildings. But as per IT Act, okay, to report to the government, you have to calculate depreciation for all your buildings with the lifetime as a 45 only. For the reason, what we do is, here we can, in corporate book, we calculate the depreciation for this by following the lifetime as 50. And but as per tax book, you have to calculate for 45 years only. Now you copy this 12 assets from corporate book to tax book as this. And you have to calculate the depreciation by following this IT Act. Lifetime is 45 or it may be 55. The depreciation method can be different, which need to be calculated. Pro rate conversion may be different. So these are all changes you can do, and you can calculate depreciation in the tax book. And depreciation method also can be different. So how we have to calculate the depreciation as per Companies Act. Accordingly, you can calculate depreciation in the corporate book. How depreciation need to be calculated as per IT Act. Accordingly, we have to calculate the depreciation in the tax book. But we don't create assets in the tax book. Whatever the assets we have, we always copy the assets from corporate book to tax book. That means we have to create the tax book so that we can copy the assets from corporate book to tax book, and we can calculate the depreciation as per IT Act. You can do the required changes as per reality, and you can calculate the depreciation. So this is what we call as a mass copy. Mass copy is nothing but copying assets from corporate book to tax book. We call as a mass copy. Okay, mass copy. Again, here we have two options in mass copy. One is initial mass copy, other one is periodic mass copy. Here, initial mass copy. Other one is periodic mass copy. So initial mass copy means copying all the assets from corporate book to tax book irrespective of periods. The assets are belongs to which periods doesn't matter. We copy all the assets from corporate book to tax book, that we call as initial mass copy. Periodic mass copy means, so what are the assets we have in this corporate book in the Jan month? We'll copy Jan month assets to tax book to Jan month, and Feb to Feb, March to March. That means each period, if you are going to copy the assets, that you can do with initial mass copy. If we are going to copy all the assets, already what are the assets we have in this corporate book, which are belongs to multiple periods, at a time, if you want to copy all the assets from corporate book to tax book, we call as initial mass copy. At the time of implementation, we follow the initial mass copy. As an ongoing process, we follow the periodic mass copy. Once initially we copy all the assets, later every month we copy. So this is what we have to understand. The very first point is, what does it mean by mass copy? Mass copy is nothing but copying assets from corporate book to tax book. What is a tax book? Okay, if you want to calculate the depreciation as per IT Act, we have to maintain the tax book. We copy assets from corporate book to tax book. As per IT Act, what is the depreciation method? What is the lifetime for that specific assets? Those all will set accordingly. We calculate the depreciation. When you are copying the assets, you want to copy all the assets irrespective of the period, then use initial mass copy. And Period wise, if you want to copy the assets, we can use the periodic mass copy. At the time of implementation, we do initial mass copy to copy all assets from corp to tax. After implementation, as an ongoing activity, every period we copy the assets by using periodic mass copy functionality. If you want to copy the assets from corporate book to tax book, first we require tax book. We have to create the tax book. So create tax book. So now, what assets you want to copy from corporate book to tax book? All those categories we have to assign to tax book also. Okay. So in corporate book we have 12 assets. In 12 assets we have in which category? In two categories, right? In first category we have 11 assets. We changed category for one asset. That is there in the other category. So those two categories we have to assign to tax book so that the 12 assets will be able to copy to tax book. If you assign the first category office buildings to tax book, then within that office buildings we have how many assets? 11 assets only. Only you can copy the 11 assets from corporate book to tax book. We have shopping complex category. If you assign only shopping complex category to tax book, in that we have only one asset. One asset only you can copy. If you want to copy all the assets from corporate book to tax book, all the assets are available in the corporate book in how many categories? All the categories we have to assign to tax book. So then only all those assets can be copied. So here simply you can take assign categories to tax book. How many categories we have in the corporate book, or else simply you can say how many categories are assigned to corporate book, the same categories we have to assign to tax book also. Otherwise this copy functionality doesn't work. Say in the corporate book we have asset in shopping complex. If the same category is not available in the tax book, when you copy, how that information can be managed in the tax book? Not possible. Okay. Here before this point, let me take another point. Okay, we have to create the tax book and we have to assign tax book to FA roles, means to user roles. Simply you can say to user roles. We assign corporate book and we assign the corporate book to user roles. What are the roles we assign to user for FA? To those roles we assign. In the same way, we have to give the tax book access also to this user. By default, user won't get access. When we assign the tax book to the user roles, we have to run them so that assignments will get synchronized immediately. Run and job. That's all. So these are very important. So then you can assign the category to tax book. Then we can perform the initial mass copy. Say,
Sir, here like a card book category and a tax book category should match, or do we have any mapping between card book category?
Perform mass copy. 1 second, please. Okay, we have to perform the mass copy. Yeah, please. What is your question?
Sir, here like a card book category and tax book category should match apple to apple, or do we need to map anything between card book category and tax book category?
So that should be same. That should.
So if the request is like for tax book category, so building and some other
Same
segment
simple point. See, you have category called as MX buildings dot combination, right?
Yes.
Office building. Now you have corporate book and tax book. When you create the category, what we do? When you create the category, what generally we do? We assign the
We assign the depreciation method.
No. That creation will do it. It's over. Say, I'm saying when we create when we are creating, what we'll do is when we are creating the category we assign to corporate book, right? We assign.
Yes.
Now we created 10 assets by using this category. Okay. I'm creating
Okay.
one more category. Okay. Amex building, shopping complex. This is a new category. Now this category also I'm assigning to corporate book. Right. But I didn't create any assets in this category. Just I created and assigned. Now, if I want to copy the assets from the corporate book to tax book, which categories I have to assign to tax book?
MX building office.
Yes, that is one is enough. Now the same I have to assign to tax book also. This is how it happens. After that, I created two assets in this shopping complex. If I perform the mass copy, these assets won't go to tax book. I have to assign this, then only it will. Okay. If I want to copy assets from corporate book to tax book, which are available in the shopping complex, the shopping complex category also I should assign. Now, if my requirement is all assets, whatever I have in the corporate book, I want to copy to tax book means in corporate book, all assets we have in how many categories, all the categories we have to assign to tax. This is what we have to understand. Yeah.
When we assign the category, same category to tax book, we are also copying the depreciation method and the rate.
See. When you assign the category to tax book, you can change it.
Yeah. After assigning, we need to change the rate as per the tax laws.
Yeah. When you are assigning, you can see that. Okay, we assign that to tax book. Accordingly, you can do the changes.
Sir, when we make the changes to the category, so the changes will happen for the card book assignment also.
No.
So yes, the depreciation calculation will go
change that. Based on the assignment, you can change that. See, the same will be available in the corporate book and the tax book. And with that association, with that combination, you can do the changes. We will see that process, we will understand. By standing here, no use of discussing those points. Try to understand this, rest you will see in the process system. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Yeah, first we'll create the tax book. So go to implementation project.
It's already 9:35 today.
Okay, just we'll complete this and we'll wind up. Yeah, because it won't take more than 5 to 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes, please. I didn't look at this time. Sorry. Okay, we'll just complete. We'll proceed. Now, there's no issues. We'll see tomorrow. Okay, we discussed about this mass copy, and in the tomorrow session, we'll see the setup and we'll see the process. Yeah, we'll see in the tomorrow session.